Hello everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter, and you are joining me for the third project in my Background Techniques mini-series. Now I started this last week. I just called it a Techniques mini-series, but it turns out it's going to be a Background Techniques mini-series. So this is project 3. There'll be at least one more project on Thursday, and that will probably wrap up the mini series. So we will get going. If you don't know me, my name is Kate. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on Vancouver Island in Canada. And if you're catching me live, it is 7:01 p.m. September 1st Pacific time. If you're catching me any other time, thanks for joining me on a replay. So I'm just messing around with my laptops. I like to be able to see what I'm doing, so my hands are always in view, but I'm not exactly too sure what has happened because now it's not working the same on my laptop, same as last Thursday. So I may see comments, I may not see comments. I'll try to keep up, but it's just not working the way it used to work or how I expect it to work. So I can't see my hands. I'm going to try to keep them in view. And comments are sporadic, but I do see some. So hello, Catherine. Hey, Carissa. Thanks for staying up late. And hello, Jackie. So tonight I'm going to use the Spooky Sweet Specialty Designer Series paper in my project. So I'll just give you a little quick peek of this. This pack comes with some images that are already ready to go. They're cut out. You just pop them out. So there's 2 sheets of these images. And then we've got 2 sheets each of double-sided designer series paper. So super easy. I told myself this year that I'm not buying myself any Halloween stamp sets. I'm just going to make do with the Halloween paper because honestly, I don't make a lot of Halloween cards, but I get FOMO, right? So that's how I end up with things that I don't necessarily need. Story of my life. Okay, so tonight I will be using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper for the background technique. If you do not have this, you can use basic white cardstock thick or regular. It will work. It just won't turn out exactly the same, but I did some samples, so I'll show you after the difference between the Fluid 100 watercolor and regular cardstock. So for the pieces tonight, I'm going with another black A2 card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side. I've got a piece of Petunia Pop that is, I have to think, it never changes. Why is my brain not working? This is 4 by 5 1/4. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4, and the Fluid 100 watercolor paper that is 3 3/4 by 5. So hello, Donna and Laura and Kate. Just a few more comments are popping in, so that's good to see. Kate's made 30 cards with the Spooky Sweet paper. That's awesome, Kate. That'll be a lot of fun. So if you're crafting along with me tonight, what you do need is a water painter and some ink pads. So I'm going to use Granny Apple Green, Pumpkin Pie, and Petunia Pop. These are colors that are already in the designer series paper, so I'm just going to match tonight. So let's get started with our first color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ink pad and I'm going to give it a gentle squeeze on the front of the cover. So I squeeze the front and back. I put it between my hands and I just give it a little gentle press, not too hard, just a little gentle press so you can feel the plastic lid flexing a little bit. And what that does is squishes, I lied, I didn't press hard enough. It squishes the ink into the lid. Hi, Donna from Washington. Hey, Robin, it's nice to see you. Carol from Minnesota and Beverly from Ontario. Okay, so I squished the lid gently because I don't want to crack it. And I've got some ink now on the inside of this ink pad. So I'm going to take that ink, I'm going to take my water painter, And I'm just going to raise my camera up just a smidge so you can see better. And I'm going to squeeze some drops of water from my water painter into my Petunia Pop ink, and I'm just going to swirl that around so it's all blended. So now I've got my ink mixed with water. I'm picking up ink with my water paper, and I am going to do a figure 8 pattern on the top part of my watercolor paper. So I'm just doing a little soft brushing and making a little bit of a swirly pattern in a figure 8 motion. That's all I'm doing with the Petunia Pop. So before I close that lid, I want to just a couple things, right? I'm not going to tip that into my ink pad, obviously, right? I don't want to ruin it. So I'm just going to clean that off with just a piece of paper towel and make sure I've got all that water out before I close up that ink pad. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I've just got a little bit of water, and I'm going to clean the water painter off just by swooshing it in the water a little bit and then wiping off any excess color on my paper towel. Is just really simple. Now I have more than one water painter, and I could just crack them all out and use them all, but this has got the nice wide brush tip, and that's what I want to use tonight. Next color, same thing. I'm going to do the apple green, granny apple green. I'm going to give it a gentle squish so I can pick up some ink on the inside of the pad. And then drop a few drops of water into that ink and swoosh it around. And then underneath the Petunia Pop, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, just a figure 8 gentle swoosh. And I'm not oversaturating this paper. The fluid watercolor paper is pretty good. You can get it wet. It can take it, right? It can take a fair bit of water. So it's not bending or warping the cardstock that I'm using. All right, same thing. I'm just going to take my paper towel and clean that off. All right, next color. Pumpkin pie, same thing. Squish, squish, squish. Careful not to break your lid. And then add a few drops of water. And lastly, I was a little bit heavy with my other colors, so my orange is skinnier, but that's okay. It's fine. All right, so that's all. That is it for this watercolor background technique. I don't know if it gets any easier than this. You don't need anything fancy. You don't even need to do reinkers. I mean, you could use reinkers to do this, but if you got your ink pads, that's just as simple, right? Okay, so give this a second to dry. All right, Jennifer says her hands aren't strong enough to squeeze the ink pad, so she puts the open ink pad face down on the glass mat to transfer ink. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Jennifer. That's awesome. Hello, Janice. Gina, you made it. Glad to see you. Oh shoot, my laptop. What did I do? Okay, sorry. I digress. Okay, so you're just going to give this a second to dry. And in the meantime, I am going to fold my A2 cardstock in half. And I'm just going to glue down my inside layer, which is basic white, 4 inches by 5 1/4. All right, I'm going to pop this on the inside. Do not worry, it is not going to stay naked. I know what you might be thinking. I don't typically do naked inside cards. All right, so I just glued this down. Now, I am going to mat the watercolor paper to my Petunia Pop. If I wasn't on video, I would let this dry a little bit longer, but the fluid watercolor paper is pretty good. You can see that it's not warping. And actually, I'll show you the sample. So I did this technique on, this is the thick cardstock. Now, I don't think that the uneven color is a result of the cardstock. I think that's just my very first poor attempt at this background technique, because I actually, funny story, I've never done it before. If I have done it before, it's completely left my mind, right? Hello, Jane, Debbie, hello, and Brenda. Okay, so this is thick basic white. Don't be fooled by the uneven color. I think that was my technique error. I don't think I had the ink wet enough. And then this is just regular basic white cardstock. Oops, got a mask stuck to it. So the only difference is, I don't know if you can tell, is that the paper, the basic white cardstock warps a little bit. Is it a big deal? Absolutely not. You let it dry completely, and you can even put it underneath something heavy like a book and let it flatten out. And if you glue it down to a mat, 9 out of 10 chance it's just going to be just fine. It's not going to look warped at all, right? So if you like to use watercolor, the fluid watercolor paper, that works great, but you can also do it on the basic white cardstock. All right, so now that I was talking for a little bit, my fluid watercolor paper is dried even more. So I'm going to glue this down onto my Petunia Pop. And I'm interested, do any of you guys use the watercolor paper, or do you say forget it and just use basic white? I don't use this very often, but I always have it in my stash because I never know. I never know what I'm going to do. All right, so I just matted this down to the Petunia pot. And then this is going to go on the card front. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little extra. And I'm just going to take a journaling pen. And I know I forgot to mention this in the measurement and supply post, but I'm going to do a little bit of scribble line work around the edges of the fluid watercolor paper just to add a little bit more visual interest. So I've got the 0.4 Stampin' Up! Journaling pen. If you have a Stampin' Write marker, that works just fine as well, but sad news, they're being retired. I'm not sure if we have any left or not, but that's Stampin' Writes are over. They're a thing of the past. Stella, hello. It is 10 p.m. in America in North Carolina. You're up late. You're up late. Hello, Joanne. Thanks for tuning in. 3 a.m.? Oh my gosh. All right, I really miss my laptop working properly because I like to see the comments. And now I'm just getting a few. So if I miss your comments, I feel bad. I hate to do that, but I will go back after the live once I get a chance and I'll read everything and I'll comment and say hello or like or something, right? I don't ignore you. All right, I digress. So I've got my journaling pen. I'm just pulling my hair out of my face because it's in my way. And I'm going to start, I'm just going to freehand this, and I'm just going to start making a little line from the left corner, and then I'm going to scribble. I got louder when I started to scribble, I don't know why. And then I'm just going to pull this line all the way across the top of my paper. It's not perfect, friends, but that's what I like about it. Then I'm going to stop. I've just turned my layer around. I'm going to do the same thing down this edge. I'm going to start in the corner, overlapping that line, scribble, and then continue along the edge. How easy is that? I love this technique. Same thing, I'm just rotating the layer, overlapping, scribbling, and then making a line along the bottom edge. All right, almost done. It just takes a second, and I think it adds a really cute visual element, and it also helps to draw your eye into the middle of your card front, right? All right, so Super simple journaling pen technique, Stampin' Write marker technique, whatever, gel pen technique, anything you have. I don't know what it's called. Line technique? Scribble line technique? I don't know. If you know, tell me. Hey Jack, thanks for tuning in tonight. All right, Sherry, you've never used this paper, but you have it. Well, give it a shot, right? It's really nice. Okay, so now this glues down to the card front, and the rest of this card is going to be so easy because I'm not even stamping. I'm just gluing things and popping things up. All right, make sure, putting this on the front of my card base. And then from the Spooky Suite Designer Series paper, I popped out some pieces. I've got, I don't know, I think this is a little leopard dressed up as a princess, candy corn. Definitely not my favorite candy, but I sure love the look of it. Cute little crow, and of course a hippo. So, oh, what else? And I have a bat, more candy corn, and I have the Greetings for All Mix and Match ephemera pack, which happens to have a Halloween sentiment. So how easy is that, right? I'm just going to pop that right out, and I'm going to use this too. And now I'm all out of Halloween sentiments because I think that's it in this pack. I think there's just 2 Halloween sentiments, and I've already used one. Excuse me. All right, hippo. Let's glue him down. All right, super easy. So I'm going to do like a little bit of gluing and popping up on the front of this card. I was a little bit heavy with my glue, so I'm just going to pull that into the middle so I don't make a giant mess. And I'm going to put the hippo on the left edge of the card because he's looking to the right, right? Excuse me, I got something in my throat. That's annoying. It's been an off weekend. I've had lots of vertigo this weekend, and I am definitely not 100%. So if you were waiting for my measurements and supply post last night, I'm sorry. I couldn't get motivated. So I've got my hippo on. The hippo's pretty big. It does cover up some of my background. I should have pulled them in just a little bit more to the right to have the edge of that watercolor showing, but that's totally fine. It is okay. And then I'm going to put our little princess leopard, I think it's a leopard, on the right edge of the card, and I'm going to pop her up, or him, right? Could be a him in a princess costume. I don't know. Who knows? All right, so I'm just going to use some dimensionals and pop this piece up. So in crafting news, I've been talking about the Giftable 3D paper projects class that was my customer appreciation gift for August. And some of you have asked if it would be available just for purchase if you aren't able to buy from me. And I said, yeah, I would make that available in September. So I actually did that today. So that is available now. If you had FOMO about my Giftable 3D paper projects class, that's a tongue twister. It's available for purchase now. So it is, I'm just going to pop the link in the comments. It's $17 Canadian, payable via PayPal. I'm sorry if that doesn't work for you, but that is the only way that works for me internationally is PayPal. And it is in inches. However, I have included in the email that you get when you sign up, it comes with the video links and the PDF tutorials. And it also comes with a link for a inches to centimeters free online converting tool that I found. And it's so simple to convert it to centimeters using this tool. So if you want this class, but you primarily craft in centimeters, then I think you're really going to like that tool. All right, Marion, the paper pack I'm using is called Spooky Sweet Specialty Designer Series paper. And it is so sweet, right? It's just cute. And I really like that it's got these pre-cut images that you can pop out. So you really don't need to buy a Halloween stamp set if you're not huge into making Halloween cards, right? So it's perfect that way. All right, so now I have got this little happy Halloween sentiment. I'm going to pop it up on the top of this card front, add a little bat, and then I need to do something to the inside of this card, obviously. Otherwise it's naked, right? Okay. All right. I'm going to try to get this even and not covering too much of my background. Not even at all. Well, almost even, I should say. All right, that's a little bit better. Not perfect, not perfect. I'm gonna have to get over it. And then I'm just gonna pop this bat up right. Oh, I'm shedding. Where am I putting it? I'm gonna put it in the corner actually. That'll be really cute. And the bat is, oh, I'm out of camera view. The bat's body is just the right size for a mini dimensional. You could probably add 3 to this bat if you wanted to. All right, so here's the front. So cute, hey? So cute. And such an easy background technique that you can do with any of your cards. In fact, I was thinking about doing maybe some Old Olive Cajun Craze, and early espresso might be too dark, but maybe pecan pie, and do an autumn themed card with this background technique. I think that would be really cute. All right, for the inside, I've got this cute little crow. We're just going to glue him down. Tessa, you love this paper pack? Yeah, it is really cute, hey? Jenna, you've got this paper pack too. Hey, Sue, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you, buddy. Congrats on the 30,000 followers. I saw that on your page. That's amazing. All right, little crow right here. Oh yeah, too cute, hey? All right, so that's it for the third project in the Background Techniques series. There will be one more coming on Thursday. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it is. I haven't got that far, but like I said, it's been a bit of a weekend with vertigo and just not feeling the best. So that's the card. Now, little recap. We started out with the first project in this series with this card. Well, I actually made 3 of them in different colors. So this was very simple. You took some masking paper, ripped it in half, and then blended a couple different shades in between your masking paper, added some stamping and some images, and that's project number 1. Project number 2, I really love this. Oops, that wasn't the one I did. That was my sample. I don't know where the one was that I actually made that night. Sorry. So very similar though. We did the same thing, but we masked a die cut circle to create a moon. And then if you can see it, you might not, but we did the faux bleaching technique with a paintbrush and water, right? Super simple. And then the butterfly, of course. Actually, I did another butterfly when I was playing with the watercolor painter, and that turned out really good. I've just been letting it dry for all day actually because I got it pretty wet, but I think that turned out really cute as well. And then our project tonight with the watercolor painter background. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around. If you get dizzy, close your eyes because it gets bumpy. And that's it. So thank you so much for tuning in live. If you're catching me on a replay, I appreciate you and I'm glad you're here as well. So tell me where you're from, say hello in the comments. If you're interested in the Giftable 3D projects class, I put the registration link in the comments, but sometimes there's a lot of comments, and if you can't find it, just send me a message and I'll send it to you directly. Now, what you should know about that class is everything's going to come to you in an email. So video links, PDFs, and the website for the inches to centimeter converter. But I'll actually put that on my page tomorrow because I think it's a really handy tool that many of us will get some use out of. So watch for that tomorrow. I will share that with everybody. So if you do register for the class, just check your emails because that's how things are going to come. And if you don't see it, check your junk mail. Now I've set it up in an automation. So once you pay and it goes through, in theory, you should get 2 emails right away, a confirmation email and then a second email that follows with all the links that you need, the videos and the PDFs. So if you don't see it, check your junk mail. And if it's not there, then please reach out. I will also send you an email just to make sure that you got it because I'm never 100% trusting in automated systems, right? So even though in theory it's automated and it should work perfectly, I'm so suspicious of technology. So I'll send you an email as well once I see it that you've actually registered for the class. I'll send you an email just to make sure that you got those automated messages. So that's how that's going to work out. Thanks so much for tuning in, catching me live or catching me on a replay, and please tune in again on Thursday to catch the final project in this mini series. Bye for now, and I hope you all have a really great week.